This is the luxury world. Get inspired with us today and tomorrow. In previous years, Rolex sports models held an air of invincibility, commanding attention and respect within both collector circles and the wider luxury goods market. Their presence at high-end gatherings and the premiums they attracted in secondary markets positioned them as icons of modern horological prestige. However, recent developments have altered this narrative significantly. Once viewed as untouchable symbols of success, many sports references are now adjusting to a new market environment, one marked by corrections, diminishing premiums, and in some instances, resale values slipping beneath retail. In this video brought to you by the Luxury World, we will explore a closer look at 13 Rolex sports watches that have recently lost their flex. From GMT-Masters to Daytonas and Submariners, the mid-2025 market correction has rewritten the rules, and for some collectors, rewritten the value of their prized timepieces. Please subscribe to Luxury World for exclusive access to upcoming insights, curated content, and expert guidance to help elevate every step of your watch investment journey. Since the market peak in spring 2022, the most prominent adjustments have occurred within the sports segment of the Rolex catalog. The Rolex GMT-Master II experienced an approximate 9.7% decline in average resale value. The Submariner line fell by approximately 11.1%, and the highly celebrated Daytona underwent a correction of roughly 12.9%. In contrast, more understated models, including the Datejust and Oyster Perpetual, reflected relatively mild depreciation at around 9.2%. Despite these fluctuations, Rolex has continued to outperform brands such as Audemars Piguet and Vacheron Constantin in terms of market stability and value retention. The Air King, often positioned as an entry point into Rolex's professional lineup, continues to occupy a unique niche. The current reference 126900 maintained its position close to retail throughout the year. Initially floating above MSRP in the resale market, it has since stabilized, currently trading at or near retail in most regions. Approximately 1,200 units were recorded in secondary transactions, suggesting continued interest despite its under-the-radar status. This model exemplifies how consistent, less hyped references may provide greater stability during periods of broader market turbulence. The Rolex Explorer collection, built on the legacy of high-altitude exploration and rugged utility, has also undergone market normalization. The 36mm Explorer, reference 124270, saw a modest retail increase from $7,250 to $7,500, just a 3.4% bump. However, resale values declined by 6.5%, bringing the model below retail. Approximately 1,500 units exchanged hands over the year, reaffirming their steady popularity despite the price adjustment. The larger 40mm Explorer, reference 224270, once enjoyed a 10% premium above retail. That premium has since eroded, with resale values now aligning closely with retail. These adjustments have prompted reevaluations among short-term investors who anticipated sustained above-retail performance. Meanwhile, the Explorer 2, available in both black and white polar dial variations, has remained relatively stable, but not immune to shifts. The black dial reference now trades around $9,900, slightly under its $10,500 retail price. The polar dial variant, slightly more desirable, hovers closer to $10,400 but still falls beneath MSRP in many cases. Though marketed for adventurers, these models are also proving vulnerable to broader economic and collector sentiment trends. The Submariner, long revered as a quintessential luxury watch, has also experienced softening in resale valuations. The two-tone Submariner reference 126613LB, characterized by its blue bezel and dial, witnessed a retail price increase from $16,150 to $17,600, a bold 9% rise. Despite this, secondary market pricing remained stable at approximately $16,000, leaving it well below the new retail threshold. This divergence highlights a growing disconnect between Rolex pricing strategy and market receptiveness. Approximately 1,800 units of this reference exchanged hands in the past year, suggesting ongoing demand even in the face of softening valuations. A similar narrative played out with the black bezel counterpart, reference 126613LN. Though it shared the same retail price increase, its resale value dropped from $16,000 to $14,800, a 7.5% decline. Previously trading at or slightly above retail, the black bezel Submariner now lingers below MSRP, indicating shifting collector preferences and speculative fatigue. The Rolex GMT-Master II collection has undergone one of the most notable market corrections. Among the most discussed is the two-tone root beer variant, reference 126711CH&R, combining Everose gold and oyster steel. Over the past year, approximately 2,200 examples were transacted on the secondary market. In 2024, the retail price in the U.S. stood at $16,700. At the time, secondary market valuations hovered near $18,500. However, Rolex implemented retail price increases in January and May, ultimately raising the MSRP to $18,150. Meanwhile, resale values retreated to around $17,600, a decrease of approximately 5%, bringing the model under its pre-tax retail price. The correction was not isolated to the root beer reference. The full yellow gold GMT-Master II, reference 126718GRNR, saw a retail hike of 10.1%, while secondary pricing declined by 5.5%. A similar scenario unfolded with the two-tone reference 126713GRNR. The retail price escalated from $17,000 to $18,500, but resale prices remained stagnant, hovering near $19,000. In many U.S.-based transactions, effective resale prices dropped below retail once taxes were factored in, diminishing the value proposition for flippers and speculative investors. International markets, where taxes are typically embedded in retail pricing, have seen even more pronounced disparities, further complicating global pricing dynamics. This past year, multiple references within the collection experienced pronounced shifts, primarily influenced by an aggressive retail price increase in January. While gold models from other lines rose by approximately 7%, several Daytona references saw hikes nearing or exceeding 14%. For instance, the white gold Daytona, reference 126509, saw its MSRP rise from $44,300 to $51,800, a staggering 16.9% increase. However, the secondary market remained unmoved, with resale prices stagnating near $44,700. This discrepancy translated to a 14% discount relative to retail, a significant departure from the collection's once premium-laden past. The yellow gold Daytona, reference 126508, offered with multiple dial options, including the sought-after John Mayer 2.0 green dial, saw a retail increase of 17.5%. Despite this, secondary pricing rose only 5%, settling at around $51,300. Although technically above retail, the difference becomes negligible once taxes are accounted for. The rose gold Daytona, reference 126505, has dipped below retail in several markets, while the Oysterflex variant, reference 126515, remains marginally above retail, typically around 5%, yet often trails behind retail once transactional taxes are included. These developments, that even Rolex's flagship chronograph is not impervious to market corrections. The shifting landscape of Rolex sports models has introduced new dynamics for collectors, investors, and enthusiasts. Once unassailable models, such as the GMT-Master II, Submariner, and Daytona, are now experiencing market-driven moderation. While certain references continue to command respect and demand, the prevailing trend indicates a recalibration of expectations, particularly among those who entered the market during its speculative peak. This evolving situation presents several strategic considerations. For seasoned collectors, the current environment may represent a rare opportunity to acquire previously inaccessible models at more grounded valuations. For first-time buyers, this market phase might reduce barriers that once seemed insurmountable. Ultimately, as the luxury timepiece sector matures, a shift from hype-driven purchasing to value-conscious collecting appears underway. Whether pursuing a grail piece, diversifying a collection, or simply observing the evolving trends, the Rolex market continues to captivate and challenge those who seek to understand its rhythm. What are your thoughts on the Rolex's current update we shared in this video? We would love to hear your perspective. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments and give the video a thumbs up if you found it insightful. Do not forget to follow Luxury World for more curated content on fine timepieces and market insights. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to welcoming you again in our next video.